You ever said something simple and noticed her whole body language change? Her eyes softened. She smiled differently. She leaned just a little closer. You thought it was coincidence, but it wasn't. What you said, those few, innocent words, triggered something deep in her psychology, something she felt but couldn't explain. And here's the part most men never realize. Women aren't turned on only by looks or status. They're moved by emotion, safety, and subtle cues that slip past logic. The right words, spoken with authenticity, can make her pulse quicken faster than any compliment about her body. Before we go deeper, if you care about understanding how female psychology really works, not the cliches, but the truth, make sure you subscribe and hit that like button. I share insights here that most psychologists would never dare to reveal publicly. Now, let's get honest. Most men talk to women in ways that are transactional. You say something hoping for approval or interest. She feels that energy immediately. It's like emotional static. But when you speak from grounded presence, when your tone and timing carry confidence instead of need, that's when the magic happens. Words that seem harmless on the surface can suddenly feel magnetic because of how they're said, when they're said, and why. Let's start with a truth that few men understand. Attraction for women isn't built in the bedroom. It's built in the spaces between words, the pauses, the quiet certainty in your eyes. And when those small, innocent words come from that energy, she feels something primal yet safe. A sense of, this man gets me, and I don't even know why. We're not talking about manipulation. We're talking about emotional literacy, understanding how women interpret tone, language, and subtext. Every phrase carries a hidden frequency. The words you choose can either close her heart or open it wide without you even touching her. Because in her mind, words are touch. They create images, sensations, and feelings that shape how she sees you. Most men never learn this language. They talk in logic while women feel in emotion. But once you understand how 5 simple words can shift her entire emotional state, you'll never speak to a woman the same way again. The first innocent word that secretly turns women on is really. It sounds harmless, right? But here's the psychology behind it. When you say really in a curious, grounded tone, you're doing 2 things that spark female attraction instantly. You're validating her emotional world and inviting her to reveal more of herself. Most men talk at women. They want to impress, to prove. But that one word, spoken with real presence, tells her, I'm listening. I'm intrigued by you. You see, women are emotional storytellers. They crave to be understood more than to be agreed with. When you say really, with genuine fascination, not judgment, not sarcasm, it activates her dopamine response. She feels seen, not analyzed. And that subtle emotional safety, that moment of connection, feels magnetic to her nervous system. It's not about tricking her. It's about being curious instead of performative. Curiosity shows confidence, because a man who's sure of himself doesn't rush to fill silence or dominate the space. He explores. He lets her express herself fully. And that kind of attention is deeply rare. Most men underestimate how powerful that is. When you give a woman space to expand her emotions, you're essentially speaking in her native language. She feels emotionally mirrored, and that creates a quiet, electric bond. Suddenly, the conversation doesn't feel like a game. It feels like chemistry. Think about it. She's spent her life around people who only half listen. So when a man looks at her and softly says, really, as if he's peeling back her words, as if he wants to know the story behind her reaction, it disarms her completely. Her guard drops. She feels connected, and that feeling, that safety in being seen, is one of the deepest forms of attraction a woman can experience. But here's where most men go wrong. They use it mechanically. You can't fake emotional curiosity. She reads tone, micro-expressions, even the pauses between your breaths. It's not the word that turns her on. It's the energy behind it, the stillness of a man who's not rushing, not chasing, but present. That single word, when aligned with calm masculine energy, becomes a mirror that reflects her emotional depth. And when a woman feels mirrored, she begins to crave more of that energy from you, without even knowing why. The second innocent word that secretly turns women on is, tell me. It's not about commanding, it's about inviting. When a man says, "Tell me," in a low, calm voice, it opens a psychological door inside her. It signals that he's safe enough for her to be real, that he can hold space for her emotions, her story, her truth, and that, for a woman, is irresistibly attractive. You might think attraction is built on mystery or teasing, but for most women, it's built on emotional permission. Tell me gives her that permission. It says, you don't have to perform. You can just be. And when she senses that, when she feels that quiet emotional authority, you stop being just another man trying to impress her. You become the one she instinctively trusts. It's deeper than conversation. When a man uses "tell me" with genuine presence, her nervous system relaxes. She feels her femininity unfold, because finally she's around a man who isn't afraid of emotional depth, someone who doesn't shrink when things get real. That balance of strength and softness is magnetic beyond logic. Think about how rare that is. Most men listen to respond. But when you say "tell me" and then actually listen, you create a moment of emotional polarity. She opens up, and you hold that space without judgment. That's when she feels attraction at a level she can't even articulate. She feels emotionally safe, but also challenged in the best way, because your stillness commands respect. This is what most men miss. Women aren't craving validation, they're craving resonance. They want to feel that you get it, that you can sit with the storm and not flinch. "Tell me" carries that signal. It's not just words, it's energy. It's a man saying, "I can handle your truth." And when you deliver that with calm confidence, her subconscious associates you with safety. Safety to feel, to express, to be. That emotional permission is the foundation of her arousal. It's subtle, invisible, but powerful. She might not even remember what you talked about, but she'll remember how she felt when you said those words. That warm current of trust that made her want to stay longer, talk deeper, lean closer. The third innocent word that secretly turns women on is maybe. It's a small word, but it carries immense psychological power. Most men think attraction means certainty. But here's the paradox. Women are drawn to emotional tension, not predictability. Maybe creates that tension. It teases her curiosity without closing the door. It's the verbal equivalent of a half smile, confident, intriguing, and impossible to fully read. When you say "maybe" with composure, you shift the dynamic. You're no longer trying to prove yourself or please her. You're showing that your energy can't be fully captured or controlled. And that, to a woman, is intoxicating. Because deep down, women are wired to chase a man whose mind they can't quite map out. Maybe tells her you live in your own emotional gravity, and she wants to understand it. The power of maybe lies in uncertainty, not the anxious kind, but the calm kind. The kind that says, "I'm open, but I'm not available to just anyone." It creates what psychologists call positive tension. She starts to lean in because her subconscious is trying to resolve the mystery you've created. Most men kill attraction by over-explaining, over-committing, or trying to be perfectly clear. They think it builds trust. But in the emotional world, clarity too soon kills the spark. Maybe allows curiosity to live. It makes her wonder what you're thinking, what you feel, what you want. And when a woman starts wondering about you, attraction is already growing. The trick, though, is delivery. Maybe only works when it's grounded in calm self-assurance. If you use it playfully, with that slow smile or a relaxed tone, it becomes powerful. If you use it from insecurity, trying to manipulate her interest, it backfires instantly because women are emotional lie detectors. They sense incongruence before words even finish leaving your mouth. Used right, though, maybe tells her, "I'm not desperate to impress you. I'm enjoying this moment, and I decide what comes next." That quiet control doesn't feel arrogant. It feels masculine. It gives her space to feel her own desire grow without you doing a thing. She might laugh, challenge you, or lean closer. But what's really happening is this. Her emotions are now chasing your energy. You've shifted from pursuit to magnetism. And when that energy takes hold, you're no longer just someone she's talking to. You're someone she feels. The fourth innocent word that secretly turns women on is stay. It's simple, almost childlike. But when spoken at the right moment, with the right tone, it hits her heart in a way few words ever do. Stay carries an emotional frequency that signals belonging, and every woman, no matter how strong or independent she is, craves that sense of being wanted without pressure. When you say stay, not as an order, but as a gentle invitation, it taps into her primal wiring for connection and safety. It's not about dominance, it's about reassurance. It says, you're safe here, you're seen, you're wanted. That moment of stillness, when a man's voice lowers and he says it with genuine warmth, creates a chemical reaction in her brain. Oxytocin floods her system, her defenses soften, she stops analyzing and starts feeling. Think about the emotional impact. Most men rush, chase, or fill silence with words that sound like noise. But when you create stillness, when you lean in and say, stay, not because you need her to, but because you want her to, she feels something she rarely does: calm desire. That's the emotional blend that makes women fall, not the grand gestures. There's psychology behind this. For women, attraction deepens when their emotional and physical safety are intertwined. Stay bridges both worlds. It tells her that your presence isn't transactional, that you're not just there for pleasure, but connection. And paradoxically, that's what makes her desire rise. The feeling that you see her as a human being first, not a conquest. You see, most men never master the art of quiet authority. They speak from impatience. But a man who can hold emotional stillness without fear, who can say one soft word and mean it, becomes unforgettable. Stay in that context isn't a request. It's an energy. It's a message that says, I can hold you without trying to own you. When you use that word in the right moment, after laughter, after vulnerability, after silence, you imprint her emotionally. She remembers the tone, the feeling, the warmth in your voice. Long after the conversation ends, that single word echoes in her memory. And here's the truth. Women remember how you make them feel in stillness more than what you say in motion. The fifth innocent word that secretly turns women on is okay. It seems so ordinary, but when a man says okay in the right way, slow, steady, accepting, it carries an emotional resonance that cuts straight through a woman's defenses. Because okay, in its purest form, isn't compliance, it's acceptance. And acceptance is the one thing every woman silently craves. You see, beneath confidence, attraction, and everything she shows the world, there's a part of every woman that just wants to feel safe being herself. When she shares something messy, emotional, uncertain, or even embarrassing, and you simply respond with okay, not dismissively, not sarcastically, but softly, it tells her, you're safe here. You don't have to hide that part of you. That word, delivered with presence, creates emotional safety in a way no compliment ever could. It says you don't need her to be perfect to be desirable. You're not shocked by her honesty. You're not judging her story. You're grounded. You're listening. You're accepting. And that calm, masculine steadiness awakens something deeply feminine in her. It tells her that she can relax her armor around you. Women are attuned to tone more than content. So it's not what you say. It's how okay feels when it leaves your mouth. A rushed okay kills connection. But a quiet, grounded okay, the kind that comes after she's shared something vulnerable, creates emotional gravity. It's a pause that tells her, you're still here, and nothing she said has changed how you see her. That's where true attraction begins, not in excitement, but in emotional trust. And once that trust is established, her desire isn't just physical anymore. It's emotional, it's psychological. She starts to imagine what it would be like to be understood that way again. That's when she begins to crave your presence. Most men chase intensity. The wise man creates safety. Because when a woman feels safe, she opens herself naturally. You don't have to force chemistry. It unfolds. So remember these 5 words. Really. Tell me. Maybe. Stay. Okay. Each one touches a different emotional layer of attraction. Together, they create a rhythm of connection that no game or strategy can replicate. Because the truth is, words are energy. And when your energy carries calm curiosity, gentle authority, and genuine presence, your words don't just land. They linger. They stay with her long after the conversation ends.